Buongiorno everyone and welcome back to Lineup Predictions. Welcome back to the Magpie Channel TV. Just a reminder to subscribe if you haven't already, or if you're new, thanks very much for joining us. Tottenham Hotspur is the game ahead of us on Sunday, 2 PM kickoff at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. A tricky clash as always. Tottenham's never an easy place to go, although we did get that 1-0 win down there last season, with J9 getting the winner down there, his first goal for the club, and what an away day it was. We were down there devastated that we can't go again this year. It's my favourite ground. I went twice last season, once for the Newcastle game and once for an NFL game, and I came away with 2 victories, 100% record. Come on, let's go down there on Sunday and give them another game. Let's say it's tricky. Tottenham's always a tricky team. Doesn't matter who's playing, who their manager is. They've got Jose Mourinho. They just come off the back of a 5-2 win against Southampton at the weekend and a 3-1 away just last night in Boratville, wherever the fuck they were playing, North Macedonia. Don't know. But they took quite a strong team over there. It's a very long way to go on a Thursday night. The likes of Kane and Son, they all played. Very strong team, almost at full strength minus Joe Hart. So hopefully there's some tired bodies in the Spurs camp. That can only bode well for us. We're coming off the back of a 7-0 win against Morecambe. There's a lot of players done very, very well. A lot of the lads that needed some confidence played well. The likes of Joe Linton needed some goals, needed some game time. He got them on Wednesday night. So Brucey's got some food for thought. We've got a few players out. Jamal Lewis is unlikely to play. He's got a bad eye injury off that kung fu kick that he received last Sunday. Saint-Maximin also picked up an injury, went off after half an hour against Brighton. He's got a twisted ankle. Brucey says it's too early to make a call on both of those lads, but there are a doubt. So we'll see what happens there. It's unlikely I can imagine them playing. Definitely not in the starting lineup at least, but we'll get to that. Kieran Clark, who got only 45 minutes the first half against Morecambe on Wednesday night. He's got a thigh injury, so he's definitely out. As well as Matty Longstaff, Paul Dummett and Fabian Schär, who are back in training. At least the last two are, Schär and Dummett. I know they're back in training, but the three of them don't appear to be in contention yet, but they are approaching a comeback, which is great because defensively, I've struggled to fill this lineup. There's a big void in defence. It's looking like we're definitely going to need to bring someone in, at least on loan, or regret sending out Lejeune. I know Lejeune needed game time. He was injury prone to bits, but now we're struggling. Without Schär, Dummett and Clark, we've got no other centre-backs other than the two that are likely to start in Fernandes and Lascelles. There's some alternatives available at the ready, but we'll get into that. Tottenham, as I say, it's a tricky game. Where do we go with this one? Do we stick to our guns and play the way we should be? I don't want us to go there and play Spurs' game. I don't want us to play to them. I want us to go down there and do our own thing. I've seen talk on social media about we maybe going 5 at the back, reverting to like the 5-2-3 that we played for much of the time at the start of last year, when Brucey just rewrote Rafa's tactic book, like the exact same tactics Rafa used, which worked quite well for him, didn't work such as well for Brucey. We did play that formation when we went down there last year, and credit, we were class, but we needed to be. They peppered us in terms of possession and chances. We got an early enough goal, went 1-0 up, and we just defended our heart out, and the lads at the back were class. Paul Dummett was man of the match in that game. Kraft, I think, was right wing back. Richie left wing back. Richie had an absolute belter. And it's hard to imagine that the game winner came from assist from Christian Atsu and a goal from Joe Linton. Who would have thought that? So we'll go into what I've got written down there then, and we'll start in goal. This one is tricky, and I know Caldalo probably will be playing, so I'll stick him straight in there, but he needs to perform. I think Mark Gillespie's doing really, really well since he came in. The 2 cup games he's played in, all pre-season, he's been absolutely solid, and he makes you comfortable. When dealing with crosses and stuff, Caldalo, he doesn't really put you at ease. I think Dubravka's even the same. Not so much last season, but the season before. every time a ball came in, like I was like, fucking hell. Like I don't feel comfortable with Dubravka and Darlow collecting crosses, but Gillespie does everything that he needs to. He's got 2 clean sheets in his first 2 games for Newcastle. Unbelievable record. Shot stopping's been great. So I think Darlow will play this game, but Gillespie, he's knocking on the door. We've got another game midweek against another League 2 opposition in Newport County, which Gillespie will likely to be playing in. But if he keeps another clean sheet, makes another few good saves, and if Darlow doesn't have his best game against Tottenham, like I know it's a tough game when you come up against the likes of Son and Kane, they're probably going to score goals, but it's just how he deals with it. If he makes a mistake or two, or if his collection isn't comfortable, he concedes a goal that he should do better in, then I think next week we should be looking at maybe starting Gillespie, but that's for next week. Darlow will be going in this week, and we'll just see how it goes during the week against Newport. I'll start with the full-backs, and I'll be putting Javier Manquillo at left-back and Emil Kraft at right-back. That's with Lewis being out. We haven't got any more options at left-back. The only one I would put in there is Matt Ritchie, but I'll be saving Matt Ritchie for the bench, probably, maybe even putting him as a left winger. With the likes of Saint-Maximin being out, we are going to have to rotate a little bit up top. But with Lewis being out and DeAndre Yedlin, he's not going to go into any Premier League side for me. He done okay against Morecambe, but every other time I've seen him, he's been shocking. One was actually against Tottenham after lockdown. I think that was his worst performance. He just didn't seem interested, didn't want to know. And as I say, Kraft done well there at wing back last year. So that's the way I would like to see it. Manquillo does okay covering at left back. Kraft had another good game on Tuesday, starting at right back, then cutting into centre back. So that's a versatile option that we'll have available with no centre backs to fill up the bench. I think starting out this way probably is the best thing for us. With Ritchie being on the bench, he can come on and cover wherever, midfield, fullback, wherever it is. If Fernandez and Lascelles, who I'll be putting in the centre, if one of them gets injured or tired or sent off or whatever, we can slide Kraft into centre back, Manquillo on the right, Ritchie on the left, which is what we did against Morecambe, just with Yedlin being in instead of Manquillo. I think that's the best thing we can do right now. Yeah, Ritchie potentially starting, but I just see better backup option, Ritchie being on the bench and Kraft starting, Manquillo on the left. That's the way I see it. In midfield, Shelvey and Hayden started both the Premier League games this season. I was going to say neither one of them did particularly well against Brighton, but no one did really. You can't really pick them two out at any fault. Hayden had a great game against Morecambe on Wednesday, scored a great goal. Shelvey, an unused substitute, got himself a little rest. So hopefully now, after that big win, Hayden played about an hour, I think he came off after about 60, 62 minutes. So yeah, a bit more game time for Hayden, a rest for Shelvey, and there's no other options there really without Matty Longstaff. I'll be putting Sean Longstaff on the bench, and I'll be putting Jeff Hendrick out on the right again. This is only because Fraser's still not fully fit and Saint-Maximin's probably going to be out. That's the way I would start things if everyone was fit and healthy, but as they're not, as I say, we're going to have to rotate a little bit here and try and be a bit clever. I'll put the others in as well. Almiron in the hole, and I'll put Joe Linton out on the left, and I'll put things that way because we can rotate that a little bit during the game. If Tottenham are pressing, if they're on the attack, we can slide Jeff Hendrick back into centre mid, have like three across the middle, and when going up top, Joey can play up top with Wilson, who I'll be putting in as well. I'm giving this all away, I'm going too quick. And Almiron can help up top as well, slide it onto the left if Joey slides in the middle. So there's a lot we can do there, but like I say, we need to be clever. It's not an easy system, but like I say, we need to do something with Saint-Maximin being out, Fraser not being fit. Ritchie could go in there and probably give away another option, perhaps better than what Joe Linton would, but as I say, I think we need him on the bench to help cover for the defence. On the bench, as I mentioned, Gillespie in goal, Ritchie to provide full-back cover, Sean Longstaff for centre midfield cover, and then it's just thrown a bunch of wingers in, really, with Murphy, Fraser and Saint-Maximin. Murphy's on the fringe. He's not necessarily first team player, but I think there's a hole there that someone needs to fill in. If it's not Murphy, it'll probably be Yedlin. Another fullback cover maybe, but I'd rather see Murphy in there, to be honest. Like, he's been knocking at the door. Brucey says he's been very pleased with his progress and he grasped the opportunity on Wednesday night when he needed it. He was great in pre-season, which he was. Ryan Fraser, Bruce says we need to guard him, and we do. He's had 3 runs out now. He says his game's based on pace and explosive play. So sticking him in 90 minutes against a big team like Tottenham, straight from the off, it's not the wisest of moves. Like he says, we need to guard him, protect him before he pulls any muscles or gets a bigger injury where we're just not going to see him for months. So yeah, ease him in, starting from the bench, bring him on with 20 or so minutes to go if we need to. And Saint-Maximin, who knows, that spot might have to go to either Yedlin or Barlasa. They're the 2 that I'm excluding, just based on, I hope to see Saint-Maximin. Brucey put a question mark on him. He says he's a doubt, he's not fully out. So yeah, if Saint-Maximin can play 20 minutes, great. I'd like to see him on the bench with Andy Carroll to help cover up top as well. But yeah, that does exclude Yedlin and Barlasa. They're not first team material for me. Bruce says Yedlin needs to decide on his own future. That'll be made up in the next week. So Yedlin might be one out the door. Barlasa potentially another loan, or he's just going to have to sit on the outside of the squad, turn up the training, just like what Colback and Saive did last year. Saive is still on the team as well, with Rolando Aarons and Ashraf Lazar. So there's still a lot of business we need to get done. More outs than ins, but once we get them outs, we can look at bringing 1 or 2 more in. I'd like another centre-back, full-back on either side, preferably both, and probably another striker to help cover. So that's my lineup there then, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments. Which formation would you play is what I'm interested in hearing. Who would you fill them spots in with? I'd like to know your bench as well. Also a score prediction. I don't really want to give one, especially the way Kane and Son played against Southampton. It's a little bit worrying, so potentially go 5 at the back, but there's not enough cover there, in my opinion. What you could do is put Crafton alongside centre-back with Fernandez and Lascelles, Manquillo at right wing-back, Ritchie left wing-back, but then we're going to have to bring in Yedlin on the bench to help cover for them. Yeah, I don't want to see 5 at the back. I'd rather we just went for it, to be honest. So yeah, let me know what you guys think anyway. Stop me waffling on. I've got things to do. Enjoy the game. Enjoy yourself.